Hello, my name is Derek. It is the 19th of September 2012. Before we get into the silver charts, I want to talk about the Canadian dollar. It was 1876 when the first coin was created for the silver dollar. This is in 1962. And up until 1967, these coins weighed 23.5 grams containing 80% silver. Then starting in 68, and this lasted for 18 years, we had these dollars made out of a pure bullion nickel, 99.9% nickel, and the weights were reduced from 23.5 grams down to 15.62. These were made out of 80% silver, 20% copper, and of course this was out of nickel. Now these coins were, I don't think they even were circulated. They might have been, I don't know, but they weren't used. And even back in this point here in the 50s and 60s, most people hoarded these silver dollars and, well, they would rather use these paper dollars that you see here. But things changed around 1987 as this loonie, as we called it, came into play. Weights were reduced from 15.62 down to 7 grams, and well, they contained 91.5% nickel with a bronze plate. A bronze plate is a combination of copper and tin. And then this year, in 2012, there's the year there, hard to see, but they changed the weight from 7 grams down to a little over 6.25, and instead of nickel, it's made out of steel with a brass plate rather than that of a bronze plate, and that's a combination of copper and zinc. Now this should be an eye-opener to tell you what has really happened to our dollar when it used to contain 23.5 grams of 80% silver, and now that's down to 6.25 grams, and it's more than 80% steel. On to the charts. Start with the daily chart, and this is priced in American US fiat currency rather than Canadian fiat currency. And since the Fed interacted last week, this is day number 4 of this sideways congestion within the gain. And well, within this rally, you encountered 4 upticks and several sideways, small price correction, actually a total of 4. 2 upticks, 2 sideways, 2 upticks, 3 sideways, and then of course that's where we stand within this daily chart. Regarding trend lines, the extremely low rate of ascent, we have this one in here. And then from the breakout, this trend line is still intact. That is a very high rate of ascent. I don't know, maybe it needs to find something in the middle somewhere. However, as long as this trend line stays active, the more recent one, and if it breaks through resistance, that's one of those watch out situations, high volatility. It could also create tops as well. And that is something to look out for as well. Let's switch this up to the weekly chart, and looks like possibly a sideways congestion after 4 candles up, 4 periods higher on the weekly chart, as it has obviously broken past this significant level. So the question is, does it need to pull back with 4 consecutive up weeks in a row? Obviously, it's a healthy pullback if it does, of course, as long as it makes that of a higher low. As it was breaking higher, I didn't think it was important, I still don't think it's important for it to make a higher high above this level on this rally. Rather, what is important is to establish a higher low and then take out the previous high. But it doesn't even have to make a higher low. It can just come out, make the higher high, and that's how it plays out. Now, if you want to know, again, 4 periods in a row, is that too much? Well, let's look back starting here. How this played out was 5 candles, 5 periods up in a row, and then 2 sideways. And then 1 up in a row with a sideways in here, 4 up in a row, and then, of course, that worked out to be the top. And, well, over the last year and change, now year and a half even, it has not managed to go below this low. So this entire gain that I mentioned has just been a price consolidation within that time period. Let's move this on to the quarterly time frame. And the quarter is closing in on the end. As September, it will finish off. And this would be the highest quarter close. If it can close somewhere above, I think it's like 34.87, give or take a couple of pennies. Actually, take a couple of pennies, probably 34.85, since this period in here. As every close since then has been pretty much under 34. As far as trendline analysis works in here, again, you can say very small rate of ascent, which is this original trend line. That's common. The first break it to do something like this, and then the rate of ascent goes higher. The next trend line has been this one. That's the higher rate of ascent. It has obviously broken through on one occasion, and obviously regain that level. And well, we're at that support part. It looks like breaking off from that level now. If we draw a parallel line, what I like to do is just draw over the original line and then match it up with the most significant resistance point. And even just picking the first high can be good as well. Or you could just do something like that. That is more significant levels, but that's the trend range in which this is currently in. So that will be it for today, and thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day.